Titled is How the Cookie Crumbled for MUDASHIRU OBASA.
This did not just happen all of a sudden.
Happened to MUDASHIRU OBASA is, like the saying, he who the gods wants to kill, he first make them go mad.
You outrightly threw the punch, like telling the governor, I am actually against your choice.
I don't think there are any legal issues around this. And the ambition of becoming the governor of Lagos, which he has for out. So I think his political future is dead, if you ask me.
Hello, everyone. This is the Debo Taiwo Talk Show, and today we will be analyzing an issue that happened politically in Lagos State on January 13, 2021. Today I have two amazing guests. They're not just guests, they're actually my brothers. I've known them since forever. But I have formally, I'm introducing Banji Adeyeye, as a seasoned entertainment lawyer, a governance enthusiast with vast experience navigating the intersection of law, politics, and public affairs. Banji will share his legal insights on the impeachment of Lagos State Speaker MUDASHIRU OBASA and its implication for accountability in governance. Banji, you're welcome to the Debo Taiwo Talk Show.
Thank you very much, Debo, for having me.
And secondly, I have my beloved brother, Kayode Badmus, who is a renowned journalist and a political analyst, known for his incisive commentary on Nigerian politics. Kayode will help us unpack the political dynamics and future impact of MUDASHIRU OBASA's impeachment. Kayode, you're also welcome to the Debo Taiwo Talk Show.
It feels good to be back again, Debo. Thanks for having us again.
Yeah, we did this a while ago, and definitely you guys always have a space here anytime. So people who will be seeing this as well, we are also available on podcast platforms on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and wherever you find your favorite podcast. Now, so the crux of today's matter. I've titled this How the Cookie Crumbled for MUDASHIRU OBASA, the former Lagos State House of Assembly Speaker, who in some commando style, that reminds me of how former General Yakubu Gowon was, booted out of office in 1975. I hear Obasa was in the United States when he was impeached from Lagos State House of Assembly. I wanted you guys to share your opinion. What do you think actually led to this impeachment for MUDASHIRU OBASA by the Lagos State House of Assembly members? Let's start with Kayode Badmus.
Okay, thank you, Debo. Feels good to be here again. I'll just jump on it straight away. Like you mentioned, like the way the cookie crumbled, this did not just happen all of a sudden. Yeah, to outsiders, it might look like, we didn't see that coming. But political gladiators in Lagos knew that was, eventually going to happen, because for about 2 years now, the leadership of the Lagos State House of Assembly, led by MUDASHIRU OBASA, have been, I don't want to use a word I wouldn't, be able to defend, but has actually not been in good terms with the executive of the state. And it started immediately after the re-election of Sanwo-Olu. You saw how some people have perceived to have performed excellently well during his first term, denied, a chance to return to the cabinet because Obasa insisted no. And there were a couple of them, like the SCA works was very close to the governor. She's not a politician. She was brought from Julius Berger. And Obasa was caught on video saying they cannot bring some people here to bamboozle us. They are saying somebody has international exposure. Somebody is coming from Julius Berger. It's actually a woman who came from. So you outrightly threw the punch, like telling the governor, I am actually against your choice. There was Egube is understandable. He said he's not a Yoruba man, and and a couple of others. So it was obvious there was infighting within the circle of the executive and
The executive
the
and the
assembly, and
legislature.
and Obasa did not. He did not. Unfortunately, the executive is someone. The governor is someone people have seen that. Some say he's a weakling, but I just think it's just calculative, and he's trying as much. In let me use that word, not to be a political agbero. But what eventually played out was the governor, who was initially the victim, doing his hands like, see this guy, see he's punching me. I'm not fighting. And at some point, some people had to, I heard the GAC members. The GAC are those that call the shots. When the president was leaving Lagos, he handed Lagos to the GAC.
Mm.
Most have it that it is the GAC that removed Ambode.
Mm.
So initially, the GAC might have been in good accord with Obasa, but it's not the way Obasa was pushing the governor around. And the news is that when the governor came for Christmas holiday, the GAC went to him and said, this speaker is bullying the governor. We have to do something. Another this thing, as it that the president actually told the speaker, Ogbeni Lobejide, at the Lagos State House of Assembly Mosque, at Alausa Mosque, when the president went there. So he told Obasa Lobejide, and Obasa is doing like, Shemosheni, what have I done and stuff. Now, there are different sides to the issues. There are people who are hardcore. If you go on Twitter now, the political landscape has actually been divided along ethnic lines.
Mm.
And now Obasa, who hitherto before now was unknown in the political system, has started gathering people amongst those who call themselves Yoruba conservatives, because they think, he has done what Sanwo-Olu couldn't do, what Tinubu has been doing, giving Igbos appointments up. Obasa is stopping it.
Mm.
On the other hand, there are people who are looking at it like, how did Obasa get this popular?
This strength,
And all of a sudden, he's saying if he wants to be governor, he has the right. Nobody can stop it. I think that was just the final nail that it's used to like, Tabama wo Benny, oh my jello, we need to nip it in the bud before it. And you see, the political circle of Lagos is very minute. It's a circle. And once in a while, they allow people like an Obasa come in. You're still an outsider. Don't feel like, you have a right. You can even become a senator and you're still an outsider. You can be.
Can you clarify what you mean by you are still an outsider?
Everybody knows the president is the general commanding officer of the Lagos State political empire. And there's a way he decides his thing. And there are things, for instance, like the governor becomes the governor and the 3 Senate seats. What I have heard is that he holds that critically to his chest and decides those who are going to attend up those posts. So Obasa was trying to already become a Jagaban within a system that has a Jagaban. And they also had to push him out. And it is not a coincidence that the person that was pushed out is a sibling of the current Oniru, who is a powerful person in the political circle of the president. Miranda is the sibling of the Oniru of Iruland, who used to be the president's ADC when he was governor, who was commissioner for 8 years. So these things don't just happen or happen. It's more or less. So I think Obasa beat more than he could chew. He felt, at this point, especially with the president out of Lagos, it was the survival of the fittest. He made the same mistake the former governor made. Ambode. It's unfortunate, you shouldn't be saying this, but in the Nigerian political system, where godfathers decide what happens, you have limitations, especially when you have been a beneficiary of that system. When you've been a beneficiary of that system, you won't now wake up and say that you want to tackle that system. That's what I've been saying. We say, Obasa was this. Obasa he's been in the house for 5 years. And for 5 terms.
Let me cut you short there a little bit, and let's switch it up a little bit now. Let's find out legal and ethical implications of this impeachment that has happened to MUDASHIRU OBASA. Apparently, MUDASHIRU OBASA was speaker for about 10 years, but let me quickly ask Banji here. Are there any legal irregularities in the impeachment process of MUDASHIRU OBASA, and could Obasa contest this decision? Banji Adeyeye.
Okay. Legal implications or legal issues around it. I do not think there are any legal issues around this, in the sense that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, as amended, particularly Section 92 sub C, provides for removal of the Speaker of the State House of Assembly. And what does it take? A resolution that is being passed by nothing less than two-thirds majority of members of that House. That is the only provision. Unlike the provisions for the removal of a governor or a president, where you have to serve a notice, raise the issues and all of that. But here, particularly for impeachment, if he has not ceased, there are two legs to it. One leg, if he ceased to be a member of the assembly, which is not the case here, but with particular reference to, the Obasa scenario, there was a resolution passed by more than two-thirds majority of the members of the Lagos State House of Assembly to impeach the speaker, and that was not, as far as I know, that is, it's proper. They've done what they should do. Well, if he thinks there is an infringement, obviously he has the courts to approach, and he can lay his, I'm not his lawyer, so I can't hold his brief in this matter. But in terms of legal procedures, I believe that with what we know, with the stories that are out there in the media, it was impeached by over two-thirds majority of the members of the House of Assembly. Now, to just also, make a contribution with respect to the initial question that you had asked, Kayode.
Okay.
What I think has happened to MUDASHIRU OBASA is, like the saying, he who the gods wants to kill, he first make them go mad. It's what has happened to him. I think he's overrated himself. He's overrated his importance. And then he thought he was just so quite untouchable because he thought he was a favorite or one of the favorites of the president. Because the point is, there are a number of times where it's been recorded that the speaker had breached protocol, blatantly disrespecting the person. And in fact, I would like to use it in a better context, the office of the executive governor of Lagos. First, we had the issue of him rejecting, the nominees that were sent. Yes, the assembly can actually say, we do not approve of XYZ persons, but not in the manner in which they did it.
Some of them
it was not a matter of competence. It wasn't a matter of competence of those persons that were sent. Those names that were contained in the list. It was certain to everybody that it was some political vindictiveness, or it was somebody trying to show that I'm in charge here. And because you have to come to me to get clearance for you to appoint members into your cabinet, then I can do what I want to do. That was what was obvious. And that was where, in my opinion, if you ask me, it showed the level of, I think, of intelligence, if I'm permitted to use that word, of the immediate past speaker of Lagos. And then followed up with a lot of disrespect. There are issues where at state functions, he would choose to come after the governor. And we know what protocol is about. Governor ordinarily is one who comes in last to a state event where the governor will be the most ranking official of the state at that event. And that is when the program itself will kickstart. But when you are a speaker, decide to show as an event where the governor would be, at a number of times late, then it's obvious that there is some level of disrespect. It is disrespect, nothing else than that. If it's a one-off, we could say, it was exigencies of office, it was tied up somewhere. But when it becomes consistent, obviously, he felt he was bigger than what he was. Yes, he had the ambition of becoming the governor of Lagos, which he has a right to. Everybody has a right to aspire. But while you are aspiring, there are certain lines, in my opinion, that you do not cross.
All right. Thank you for your insightful analysis, as always, BJ and Kayode. I'll stay with you, Banji, before we switch it back to Kayode. Obviously, Speaker has been impeached. Before he was impeached, apparently, he was Speaker for about 10 years. So this June would have been Speaker for 10 years. Banji, do you think the Speaker on his return to Nigeria, because I understand he's in the United States right now, not verifiable, but that's what I understand. Do you think he would return back to the House as a regular floor member, or what do you think is going? And then, secondly, what do you think is political future? What do you think his political future looks like after this incident?
Well, if you ask me about returning, yes, if he returns, he's still a member of the House of Assembly, so he will return to be a floor member, as it were. There's an impeachment. He has been impeached. He's no longer the speaker. He cannot impose himself as speaker over his other honorable colleagues. They have said, we do not want you to lead us anymore. You cannot continue to steer the ship of this assembly. So he stands impeached, except otherwise pronounced by a competent court of law. He returns back to the country, returns as a member of the House of Assembly. Now, about what is political future? Well, we're not God. But if you ask me, I said at a few other fora to say, I think his political future is dead, if you ask me. Move there has made. Now, with some knowledge and interactions with people prior to this impeachment, he's rocked the boat with a lot of people. There's so much arrogance. I mean, he's been portrayed as being a very arrogant leader. I know people of his constituency even have issues. Interestingly, at a function I was today, somebody jokingly said to somebody, let me use the word in Yoruba, I mean, it's literally saying, you are KK people, you are really not forgiving. This guy, taking, I mean, you're dealing with him the way he has other people. I mean, the news out there is that he's quite arrogant, he's iron-handed, and when you look at this, you are a member of, I mean, this thing is replaying like what has happened to somebody I respect who was the former speaker before him.
Honorable
Origi. Now, in fact, what I think it should be the question of what he should be dealing with, what will be his fate is, what is even his fate with the EFCC? Because the question is, one of the reasons that we have in the media today, with respect to why he was impeached, is about, iron-handedness and then mismanagement of funds. So if that is the case, then he might be the guest
of the economic, Financial Crimes Commission.
So maybe we might be visiting Olugo anytime soon. So I think he has more of that to worry about, and even about.
And even
that's me. I think that this is like somewhere like Kayode had mentioned earlier. I think it's just the nail that has. I mean, he has nailed his political coffin, if you ask me. So all that needs to be done is for him to be buried at the end of this term.
At the end of this term. Okay, that's some very defining words there. Kayode, I'm going to switch it back to you. And I was going to ask, in Lagos state politics, there's this role of Babasokpe that has always continued to, be like a prominent feature in Lagos state politics. I know we talked about this slightly, but I want to know, what role did party politics play in this decision? Do you think Babasokpe really made this happen, or it was just, a bad time and this guy had to go?
To start with, I would say Babasokpe, Godfatherism is not peculiar to Lagos alone. It is one of the intricacies of Nigerian politics. There is no state in Nigeria that you wouldn't find one godfather or the other. In fact, we've seen cases where one of the middle belt states where a female was already declared winner, and the godfather of the state was saying, over my dead body, and it was upturned. For people, political actors till now do not understand what happened, because it appeared this woman was already winning. I think it's Taraba or one of those states.
I think that was Adamawa.
What?
That was Adamawa.
Adamawa. It happened in, it's Adamawa, Binta or something. Yeah.
Would verify.
When you go to Ogun State, Baba Oshoba, the reason they were fighting Tinubu for many years is because how many are godfather in Lagos? They can't know she godfather in Ogun State. In Oyo, God rest the soul of Baba Dedibu. And right now, people like Kladoja play, godfatherism roles. So it's like a general thing. Go to Delta. Ibrahim was in prison in the UK, and it was said that he was still controlling Delta State. So back to to your party.
I don't agree though, but I'll let this slide. I don't agree as to some of the things you said as per godfatherism in some states specifically. Yes.
Okay.
Or your state specifically. Adeyeye, yes, was godfather, but I don't think Rashid Ladoja plays any.
Ladoja had to step down his personal ambition for Seyi Makinde to eventually emerge.
Okay.
He had to step down because
Ladoja has been in terms of determining governors.
Ladoja has been in several parties. He went to ZLP, but the structure was still from the PDP.
A godfather would not do that. Like a godfather that knows what he's doing will not move from one party.
No. He has had his struggles. And then there was another emerging godfather in the likes of Ajimobi, the incumbent governor.
Okay.
So he wasn't the overall godfather. Your godfather does not mean it is one person that is controlling. It is only in Lagos that we might have a overall godfather.
That's the point I was trying to make. And
but everybody, every state have their own. In some states, it might be like 4 people. Each local government or thereabout have their own godfathers.
Okay.
Johnson. So this Obasa issue, I don't know if it is social media that is making it a big issue. Impeaching a speaker is not a new thing in the country. In Lagos itself, it's not a new thing. The first sitting that was held in 1999 to elect a speaker, that was the first time there was violence in this in the State House of Assembly. The very first sitting they had. I think Ola Marshall from Ikorodu was thinking, obviously, Sochi and stuff. Afterwards, Mamora emerged. Yeah. He was there for a while. No, that wasn't Mamora. That was Mamora emerged, then left. Then Joko Tade Pelumi came. Joko Tade Pelumi did not spend 1 year before they impeached him. Pelumi he spent barely, he was impeached, and then Ikuforiji came. And it was after Tinubu left office that that office started being stabilized. Pelumi and Ikuforiji spent 10 years. Between 2005 and 2015,
yes.
Then Obasa has spent 10 years. Okay. So because it has been this stability of, okay, this is the godfather, and whatever he says, in the beginning, there was no stability. The governor too was still trying to fight Afenifere, fight some Baba Sokpe and everything. But by the time he established himself, there's instability. Aside Pelumi, Fumi Tejo from Mushin was deputy speaker. She was impeached because they said she was getting arrogant. The Babas said she was already ganging up with some people in Mushin, and she was already feeling, in fact, she had declared she was the next speaker, she was going to be this and they checked her. So, this Pelumi and the Obasa issue and his impeachment, like I said, within the party circles, they knew it was eventually going to happen. And it's unfortunate we regularize the irregularities. Ordinarily, the assembly and the executive are not supposed to be politically on the same page. It is bad for the polity. It is bad for the system. Unfortunately, we have rubber-stamped assemblies, legislature in the country. And that's why some people will say Saraki's Senate is probably one of the best in recent times, simply because they were critical of the president. They did not act like rubber stamp, like David Mark did with Jonathan. So, unfortunately, these days, most governors, once they take anything to the assembly, as far as you've padded it and you've put the share of the assembly members and everything, it's a jamboree.
Okay.
But let me just conclude. Like Banji also mentioned, the God wants to deal with whatever the first allow. At the presentation of the last budget was where Obasa deemed it fit to address the issue of people saying he has gubernatorial ambitions. At the time when the governor was there to present his budget, he now said, well, people are saying this, are you related to one family? Nobody can tell you this thing, you are qualified to be governor, although you've not opened up on that. That was unnecessary. If you are smart, you need to work on your... He was already working on the ground. Don't come out like, it is Lagos. Everybody actually understands the fact that no matter how powerful they make you in Lagos, you are supposed to have little ambitions.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. So we want to wrap this up in about 6 minutes. So we just keep it insightful. But if you guys want us to extend a little bit, we can. But this time for now is 6 minutes to go. And this question will be for two of you, but I'll go with Banji first in 2 minutes, and then we'll switch back to Kayode. 2027 feels far away, but a lot of political intricacies are already happening. Who do you guys think might emerge as governor of Lagos State in 2027? Banji.
I think it's too early to say who will
Exactly.
I think one of the undoings of Obasa was that he played his card and showed his hands too early. It's important and good for you to, have ambition, but however, I think he got beclouded with that ambition and then threw every caution into the wind. And I think if I'm permitted to use this word, kind of lost a bit of his senses to a large extent. Apologies if this sound harsh, but that's what it is. So it's, I think, too early, if you ask me, to decide who. A lot of names have been thrown up. And I understand and know Lagos quite very well. You'll be shocked that some of those names that you hear flying around may not even be the person.
Mm-hmm.
If you followed, we have followed Lagos' governorship trajectory over the years. When the current president, Asiwaju, was to leave office, there were a lot of names. Maybe Tokunbo Afikpo was out there.
Pedro.
Pedro, that was one of the things that end Pedro's impeachment as deputy governor. So many things, so many names.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, it was BRF, one of the very fantastic leader. It was BRF that was governor. And to a lot of people out there, who is BRF? Where is he coming from? But a technocrat who has also who's been in the political space. And then after BRF, Sanwo-Olu is governor. At the time, there were lots of names that were being thrown out. And then when we got closer to, maybe 3 years into the line, we then someone. So I think it's early. There are a lot of people that are promising names out there. So I think we should still wait another. This is just 1 year plus after. Sanwo-Olu is doing second. Let's still give him some time to,
Hey, all right.
Office work. Maybe another 2 years we can determine or have an idea of who would likely be the next governor of Lagos.
Okay, sure. And then on that note, Kayode, if you have anything to say specifically on that, I think Banji capped it really nice. What do you think, or what name is coming to mind? We hear Seyi Tinubu might be governor of Lagos State. What do you think about that? Kayode, in 1 minute 20 seconds.
If we make a prediction now and it end up happening, it's going to be a miracle. In Lagos. Lagos is not where people queue. As of 2005, Fashola did not know he was going to be governor in 2007. The closest was 2 years, Ambode. I think as of 2013, he was already out and the Oba of Lagos was already carrying him around. But that was still less than 2 years. As at August 2018, Sanwo-Olu did not know he was going to be governor. He had no ambition. Sometimes in September, some people will just went to his office say, we are going to Abuja to collect funds. And that's how it is in Lagos. And I don't know if it is going to change. Of course, we have political actors that have been, being announced everywhere. When Tinubu was going, there were like 12 people, most of them his aides, commissioners, people in their same rep and this thing. None of them. The same thing with Fashola. He had like 4 people in his cabinet. There were people in So it is too early to predict, like Banji said. And the Lagos political landscape is going to be a very interesting watch in 2027. I have people in my head that I want personally to emerge. And I think
You want to give us one name? Yes.
They need to consider certain Ibiles that have actually not been represented in the State House. They need to consider Badagry and Ikorodu at this point in time. It's always been between Central and East. From Otedola, Ambode East, then Fashola, Sanwo-Olu, Central. I think only Tinubu could have said West, but he was even more of a central person. But basically, I think it's high time they consider the Ibiles, those that have actually not been represented in the State House. So me, I'm going for somebody from either Badagry or Ikorodu. Well, Ikorodu precise because that's.
I was not going to say your bias is Ikorodu, so I know who you possibly have in mind, but I'm not going to speak
I have to be in mind. Two correct people from Ikorodu.
I'm not going to speak that.
Jimmy Benson and Tokumbo
That's your number
Abiru.
one.
Okay.
Jimmy Benson, Rep. Tokumbo Abiru, Senate.
Okay.
Those are my personal.
Your personal suggestions. Okay. Anyways, guys, it's always an insightful session with you both. Thanks. This is a wrap from on this particular episode, How the Cookie Crumbled for MUDASHIRU OBASA. Thank you, Banji, Adeyeye, and Kayode Badmus for sharing this seat with me on the Debate I Will Talk show.
Thank you
very much for having us. It's a pleasure to be here.
Right. Thank you. Ciao. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Bye-bye, SARS. Okay.